Hi, I'm Verne Thayer. I'm going to start some paintings here, and hopefully you'll join me and find the beauty and the fun that you get when you paint. This is my first show, and I don't mind telling you I'm quite a bit nervous. Can you tell? But I picked a scene that we're in Milford, and it's going to be a Milford scene, Louisa Lake. You must know that. So I got my paints laid out here, and we have titanium white, Naples yellow, yellow ochre, cad yellow, sap green, viridian, green gray, king's blue, French ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, Thayer blue, Davies gray, and I do use black sometimes. I know some people think that's sinful, but I really don't care. So to start, I know a lot of people have trouble when they have a blank canvas in front of them. I do sometimes. Sometimes I'll sit and I'll stare at that thing for a day or more. Intimidated by this thing. Don't let that happen to you. You know what? Get some paint, throw it up there. Be in control. So we're going to make some blue sky here. Boy, that's thick. Ooh. Here we go. The good thing about painting is it doesn't matter how good you are, the feeling that you'll get from painting is as good as the top artist. I've talked to many artists, really good masters, and they have fun with what they're doing. And they do great work, great paintings. But they're great paintings. There's no more satisfaction that they're getting than I'm getting painting these. It's like therapy. So I'm using 16 by 20 canvas. I taped it onto this board. And this here is going to take a bit of paint to get this covered up. I've watched a lot of people and I've read some books. My father was an artist. And unfortunately, he was very busy. He was a sign painter for a living. But his heart was in art, painting. But he taught me enough that I was hooked. I always loved art. But sometimes, as you know, life gets in the way. So I painted off and on for 30 years, 40 years. But there was a time in the middle where the kids had to go to school and ran a business. But then I retired and I'm back at it. I'm having so much fun too, I'll tell you. I don't care what comes out. I don't care how long it takes. And that's the way to approach it. I'm not trying to make a living at this. I'll still have food on the table when I'm done. So I do this for me. It's like my father told me. He says, Vern, paint for yourself. The hell with everybody else. You do it for yourself and your own enjoyment. If people like it and they buy it, that's great. They don't, you haven't lost anything. All right, so I got some of this blue up there. I have to get some more out. Get a bigger tube. Here we go. I'll put all this blue down, and then I am going to change the color a little bit up top, because the higher in the sky you look, the darker it is. And the lower, the lighter it is. But I don't start out putting the different colors in this all at one time. I like to cover it all with a medium blue. And I would consider this to be about the medium. Medium meaning there's darker ones and lighter ones. So we'll get this on there. It's taking a while. But like I say, don't let this worry you. Don't be intimidated by the canvas. I'll tell you, I painted a lot of pictures. And then I got a lot of pictures that's stuck in the corner. You won't see them, ever. I don't even look at them. But you're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Even the best artists make mistakes. But they don't let that ruin their day. For me, I don't know. I get about maybe 3 bad ones for 1 good one that I would consider good. And I'm happy with that. Again, I'm not trying to make a living. I'm just trying to have fun. And the good thing about art is, you know, when you start, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you keep painting, you're going to improve. And then when you look at what you did before and now what you finished, that feeling is great. That is, there's no word for it. It's fantastic. That's why I say it's like therapy. Okay, I'm going to put the bit of the tree in there. And you know what? I'll just use this here, yellow ochre and a touch of blue. There we go. I just want to mark it so I know where we're at. There we go. There we go. You see that I'm not really worried about staying in the lines too much at this point. And we're going to have some horizontal line. If you want to get a straight line, sometimes you can just put your hand here and just bring it across. That's a good technique to use when you're doing an ocean scene where the back of the ocean meets the horizon. There's that straight line. You'll notice that the ocean doesn't bend. Although that's not entirely true. If you get up high enough, you'll see the curvature of the earth, but I don't know anybody that paints up that high. All right, so now we'll get back to this blue. We'll throw that on there. We're almost good with this blue here. Now, I've read a lot of books, and I've watched different artists. YouTube, you know, you go on YouTube, you can pick up tons of stuff. And that's what everybody does, all the artists. They don't just take a pill and boom, I'm a great artist. They learn from other artists, and they've been doing that from day one. They copy, they go to the museum, copy their art, and stuff like that. Today, we don't have to go to the museum to copy art. We got the internet. And that suffices to learn. As long as you don't take it too serious. I got to get a palette knife here. I got an assortment. I'm going to get this big bad boy. I could cut a pie with this thing. All right. Now, I'm going to smooth this out. I saw this technique. There was a Russian artist on YouTube do it. I saw him do this. And I thought, gee, that's interesting. Maybe I'll try that. And I tried it. And I love it for the skies. And I'm doing the sky. Oh, yeah. I think this works out good for me. All right. Now, I'm going to take some French ultramarine blue. Matter of fact, I might use a little bit of... You got to keep a pair of pliers around sometime because the paint just... there we go. It gets hard. That was a two-hand push to get that paint out. All right. All right, see? We're going to take that, go across here like this. All right, now I don't like that. But that didn't work out too good, did it? We'll go over here and get some cobalt blue. Now we'll put that on there. Whoop. Oh, that's a rocky thing. Excuse me for a minute. There we go. Now you see I had a little bit of a mistake there. But you watch, it's going to come out all right. It's going to come out better. It's going to be a better job. You'll see. When you have a mistake and it looks good, leave it. Like Bob says, a happy mistake. Nobody makes mistakes. Happy endings and that. It's true. Oh, Bob, he did a lot for the art. He let everybody know that they can paint. And it's so true. All right, now we'll go down into the middle tone here. And I'll take some more of this, mix with that, and we'll just go here a little bit. Now down here below it, we'll add a little bit of white. Let me get another knife. I like to use a knife just for my whites. That way my white stays clean and doesn't get contaminated with other colors. I can contaminate the color with my own brush. Here we go. All right. Let's see how this works here. Yeah. I love this part. I love working on the sky. It almost looks like it's abstract, which I don't particularly care for abstract. But if I kind of like left it like this, it would be considered abstract, I think. Excuse me. All right. Get some more down here. There we go. There we go, do that there. And we'll come up here. And we'll come up there. All right. Now, paper towels. I use a ton of these. I probably should buy stock in the paper towel company. All right, as you can see, that doesn't look like very much, does it? Well, we'll see if we can improve on that. All right, there we go. The knife blends differently than the brush, I find it. Now, when I say something, it doesn't mean that that's written in stone. I'm not a master in any shape or form. But this is how I do it. Right or wrong, it's the way I do it. And there's been quite a few people have asked me if I would teach painting or if I give lessons and demonstrations, and I don't know, this is my first one. And I think this will be enough for me, just keep doing these. Now, you'll see that this here is blending, but it's not blending evenly. Not like it was sprayed on. I'm going to just take this off here a little bit. Here we go. This here is kind of blah for a sky. I like dramatic skies. So we're going to take some of that, a little bit of that, yellow ochre and white. All right, what are we going to do here? All right, saying that you want to try to have light against dark, dark against light, all through the painting as much as you can. So we got a darker sky on top, it's lighter on the bottom, and there's a tree line in the background. So I might make this a little bit lighter with clouds. Now this is a kind of a yellowish thing, and it's going to turn green because I put that yellow, Naples yellow and yellow ochre. But that's all right. See, knife has a beautiful technique. It looks like it's nothing, and then you'll see what happens after. So let me get some white now in that. I'll touch that with some white there. There we go. Put some over there. Okay. I think I'll have the clouds going up in that direction. The sun's coming down in this direction. That's one of the things you got to do. You got to decide, if you're not going to go with the picture, where your sun's coming from. That'll determine where your shadows are. How much sun you got. The worst time to take a picture is probably noontime. For an artist to do a painting, early morning or late afternoon, you have the shadows. And it's the shadows with the light that makes the painting beautiful. Here we go. Now, I think I'll take some more white. Let's put some up here. Like that. All right. Do that. Like that. There we go. I tell you, I go through some paper towels. There we go. There we go. Oh, we took the paper off there. I'm fired. There we go. I think next time we do this, I'll use a regular canvas. I thought this might be a good idea, but I was wrong. That happens. Okay. All right, now we get the fan brush. Oh, should I? All right. There's no mistakes. There's no mistakes. Okay, now we got the clouds, the sky in there. Now we got the background trees. And as a rule of thumb, what's further away is bluer in color. That's because of the atmosphere that's between you and what you're looking at. So we're going to put these trees back here, and I'm going to try to keep them on the blue side, more so than what's in the picture, because I want to really stretch that out. I want to pull the foreground back here and push back the background there. And that will, little dramatic things. We have a license for that, you know. You can do anything, just call out your license, and you're good to go. You gotta have your coffee too. All right, so we're going to move into the green. I got this brush, it's already got blue, right? So let's get some green. We're going to go a light color, and it's going to be green. All right. Is that what I want? Mind you that the paint there that's blue, whatever I put on top is going to be affected by the paint that's already there. All right, so let me see if I can't give this a test here. Let's see how we do here. All right, let's go over here and see how that goes. Now that the trees are further back, we want to soften, no sharp edges, soften the edges, the top of the trees, very delicately. Okay, so now we're going to get a little more green down here. I think I might dab a little bit of Viridian in there. Touch of blue. Maybe a touch of Davies gray. Yeah, that's it. That's what I want. And we're just darken that up here for now. I'm just doing nothing exact. I'm just so I can find out where I'm going with this. There we go. Okay, now, I like to paint what's furthest away and come back to me. So, the sky obviously was the furthest, so I did that. And the trees on the other side of the pond, that was the furthest, so I did that. Now I'm going to put a little bit of grass where on the edge of the pond over there, but then I'm going to put the water in. And the thing with water, reflections in the water are darker than what the actual object is. And that's including the sky. So if you've got a blue sky, reflection on the water is going to be a little bit darker. So you can keep that in mind. So I'm going to get a little Davies gray and a little bit of yellow, cad yellow. And I'm going to have to lighten that up a bit. All right. You know, sometimes I like to do what they call a tonalist type of painting, where I'll take some dark blue or some brown, dark brown, and Viridian, and I'll just slap it up there. And I don't know what's coming out of it, but as I slap it up there and move the paint around on the canvas, I look and eventually there's a picture in there I can pull out. And it's all dark, but it looks like one of those old masters. You know how the darkness is, the mystique, yeah. It's a nice technique. It's fun. You don't have to nail yourself down to one certain way of painting. You're free to do whatever you want. It's one of the few things you are. Okay, so the water, like I said, is a little bit darker. So we're going to get some cobalt blue. And we're going to get some more of that white. Put that there. Mix that up. I got to get the light right so I can see. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. Now, I said the water's bluer when the sky reflection. But if you look, a lot of the water is dark, black almost. And you can do that on there too. So I'm going to put a little bit there, put a little bit here. There we go. Maybe we'll put a little bit there. Now, I usually do this afterwards, and I probably should have. I guess we can call that a mistake. So there you go, right on TV. I goofed up. But that's all right. I'm going to wipe it down because the reflections come down towards you. Now I'm going to take those dark colors, and I think I'll put that on with a brush. All right. Well, lesson number one for me, starting out painting, I got to bring more brushes. All right, oh, there's not much choice. I got to take this one. So I'm looking at this, and this is really dark over here. And the good thing about the darkness like that, when you put a highlight, it pops. You know, if you got a dark thing, and if you're doing a fall scene and you got like a white birch, well, if you have a white birch reflection on top of dark water, that's about as dramatic as you can get. Yeah. And you can exaggerate that too. Again, your license, you can do it. You can do that. I did Hopedale Pond, and I did that. There was a white birch, and I put that on, and I even added another white birch to it. Nobody knew the difference. But I liked it, the way it came out. But that thing really popped. Paintings, besides being something special to you, should grab somebody. You know, they should see something in it, something that it makes them remind them that they were there, or they saw something like that, or I remember a sunset like that, or whatever. Like, it brings them in, it draws them in. And for myself, I try to paint, like I said, what I feel. And you should too. You know, try to paint what it was that made you stop and catch your breath. Not what's physically there. There's more to it. Paint emotion. Paint the light. Follow the light. And remember, you can't have light without darkness. It's like yin and yang. Can't have one without the other. There we go. Okay, we got the dark water in there. Now you'll see when I do green on top of that, the light green for the reflection of the trees, how well that'll come out. Okay, now I'm going to take the same brush, and I'm going to go into darker greens, and I'm going to highlight, well, not highlight, but make the trees look more real, I guess, for a better word. Can you see what I'm doing here? Now the hard thing is not to make it look random, make it look real. we have a tendency to make sure this one's here and this is exactly here and the next one's exactly there. And nature's not quite like that. So that's one way of doing it, but I cheat. I cheat. I'm gonna get my little cheating thing out. Hang on. All right, where is that? A little special thing I use. It's a secret. Yeah. Well, it must be a secret for me too. Here we go. You ready for this? A sponge. Plain old sponge. And I have more than one sponge. I have different textures on some of the sponges. But look at that. Looks pretty good. Looks real. Now you'll find sometimes if there's a lot of oil, it can enhance the technique, the effects of what it does. Matter of fact, when I do those tonalists that I was telling you about, I use a sponge, but with a lot of oil. You can get the technique. There we go. Now see that one went a little bit higher? I'm leaving it, that's good. It's not there, but it looks good on here. It stays. And if you ask me why you don't see that tree in the picture, I'll tell you. They cut it down just the other day. It was up there. All right, now I'm going to get a little darker. We're going down to the bottom here. Here we go. Now I'm going down below a little bit too far, but that's okay, because on top of that, I'm going to put the little bit of grass down there. And I'll take care of that. But we need our shadows underneath the tree. There we go. Okay. I think that's good for that. Now I'm going to put in the grass that's on the ground over there. And I'm going to use this brush here. Now the sun's hitting the grass down there, in which case makes it look a little bit lighter. So I think what we'll do, paper towels again. Yeah, I go through a whole bunch of these puppies. I buy the 20 block or whatever. Then my wife steals half of them, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to take some of that. I want to add a little bit more yellow. I don't want it to look too chalky, so I'm not going to use a lot of white. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll make a little like that, with a touch. We'll gray it down just a hair. Yeah. Put that in there. So now we're going to take that and put where we got the grass. Okay. So now what I want to do is the water, because we did the sky, the trees, the ground that's over there underneath the trees on the other side of the pond, and now we're going to do the pond. That's the next in line. Again, we wipe off the brush, knife, throw that down there. Let's get some more of that dark up. Now I want to use the knife to put that dark stuff up. Now I'm going to go exaggerate a bit here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put here, there, put some here. See, I'm just touching it, putting gobs. See, I'm not doing anything right now. Spread it. Now that looks silly, doesn't it, right? Paper towel. Now we're going to take that and we're going to go right down, just like that. There we go. Well, you got to remember, you got to wipe off all the paint on there. Otherwise, when you put your knife back up there, you're going to get that straight line. And you're going to go like, ah. There we go, that. Over here, we'll do the same thing here. Straight down. The reflections are straight down. Unless the water's swirling, and then you can get, but even still, the reflections come straight down. Unless your hand shakes like mine does, and then it's like golf, it's a dog leg or something. You have to correct that. Here we go. There we go. I like it. I like it. And that's all that matters. I'm happy with that. That's all that matters. Now I'm going to do something similar with the blue. I'm going to get another knife. I like my knives. I got more knives. All right. Now this blue is part of the sky, but we got the trees, the reflection of the trees in here. So let's take that brush, and I think we'll put the tree reflections on. We're going to just dab it on there for now. All right, and remember, it's going to be a little bit darker. What's in the water is darker than what it's reflecting. So we're going to put, we'll try to be, that's not dark enough. I got to grade that down. Try not to be too bright out of the tube. You want to dull things somewhat, because nature's not really all that bright. You might think so, but you look closely, even the leaves, except for the fall, you'll find that they're not all that bright. There we go. Now I'm going to put some of that there. Now, I'll do some over here. When you do the reflections in the water, you got to keep in mind that the shadows from the tree above shows on the water too, but it's the mirror image. So you'll have more highlights up top and more shadows on the bottom because it's showing on underneath, reflecting underneath. And that's easier said than done, but you got to practice. So we've come quite a ways here. So now we got the water so pretty good there. Now we have this wooden railing that's down there, Louisa Lake. And they got the green grass underneath that and just beyond it. So I think what I'll do is I'll put the wood in. And let me take some yellow ochre, some blue, French ultramarine blue. All right, now give me a kind of a gray. We'll get our trusty brush. Yeah, next time I'm going to bring down some more brushes. And that way there, even if I don't paint like a professional artist, I'll look like it with all the brushes. So, you know, the other thing is that I've learned, you'll hear a lot of people say, buy the best paints, the best brushes, and there's a lot of truth in that. Buy the best that you can afford. When you first start out, you're going to buy the cheapest thing you find down the store, the corner store, and you're going to work on it, and then what happens is, it's like riding a bike. You start off with this real cheap bike you get at the department store, and you're riding it. Pretty soon, this bike isn't what you want it to be. So you go down to the bike store and you buy a better bike. And the same thing applies. But a lot that is true is that the cheaper brushes, the cheaper paint it's not going to do you any favors. And now, if you feel more comfortable in the long run, or in the beginning rather, that's fine. If you feel like you're not painting for anything, just trying it out. I just want to see if I like it or not. Yeah, you can do it at cheap paints. But if you're really serious about doing as a hobby, if after the cheap paints and the cheap brushes, and you say, geez, you know, I like this. I mean, I just finished one and I feel pretty darn good. You know, this is okay. I like that. Then I would say upgrade. Upgrade. There's plenty of catalogs of different stores that sell paints online, and where down the store to check your prices. You can get them, some are really expensive, but you can get them cheaper at other places. But good paints. Now they got some paints there that you'd have to get a mortgage to use. And I'm not talking about that either. A lot of the top artists do use that paint, but they're selling their paintings for thousands of dollars. So, you know, that's part of their business. They can write it off. But if you're doing it as a hobby, like I do, I sell paintings, but it's not putting food on the table. It's paying for itself. If you can get your hobby, your artwork, to pay for your equipment, you're ahead of the game. That's terrific. It's like music. If remember playing in a band and this and that, we're all going to be rock stars. And if we could get enough business or play in enough places that paid for our guitars and our amps or whatever, we were happy. Well, same thing with your hobby of paint. Same thing with anything. Now you can spend all kinds of money depending on what you want to do. But, you know, when you put it in perspective, if you play golf, how much does golf clubs cost you, and fees and all this and that? So it's relative, you know. So you start off and you say, geez, I can't do this. I'm not very good. Stick with it. And then you'll see that, gee, this painting came out better than the other one. And then you keep going, you keep going. And you know, I used to ride a motorcycle. And we used to have a saying, it's not the destination, it's the journey getting there. And the same thing with painting. It's the paintings you get to where you're good. All those paintings in between. That's the good part. All right, so I'm putting this green in here it's on the foreground, and it's just a basic green. I'm slapping it down. I'm not being too picky. I just want to cover up that white. You know what, it'd probably be faster if I use a bigger brush. Yeah. Get some more paint on there. And let's get a little blue. A little Davies gray. Here we go. Black. All right. There we go. Now, when I'm finished with this, I'll probably take this thing home and I'll stare at it for a few days, pick at it, and either people will see it afterwards or they'll never see it again. But that's okay. It's fun. That's all part of it. But I'm having fun, and that's just what I'm trying to convey to you. Is that this is fun. It's like therapy. You know, the best thing is every time you paint, you get that little bit better, and it's you want to be careful. It can be habit forming. You won't want to stop. I mean, when you start going out for coffee with your friends and that, and you're talking, but in the back of your mind, all you can think about is, I want to get back to that painting. You know you're in trouble then. You're hooked. Can you see that? See how it's come together? See this here? It's got the dramatic contrast going on there. And I could tweak it a little bit, but I think we've got the majority of the idea of painting. We've captured what was there. You don't have to have every leaf and every limb in there to capture what it was to make you stop and have a look. You know, you walk on the trail over there and you're talking, and all of a sudden you stop and like, oh, yeah, that's really nice tonight, or today, this morning, whatever. And then you continue on your walk. Whatever that was that made you stop, if you can get that on the canvas, yeah, that's special. That's special. And you'll be really happy. And of course, you might be the only one that knows what that special thing was. But that's all right. It's okay. Foil, aluminum foil. My wife gets it down at the cheap store there for $1 or something, or a couple of bucks or whatever. And I take it and I crumple it up, and I turn it and push it flat and dab it on the paint, and I hit it up there. And you get that random hit, like a tree is random, with the little openings for the sky coming through. Again, because if you try to paint it in, a lot of times you put it too perfect. Well, I do anyway. Maybe that's the only time I'm anywhere near perfect. I don't know. But we'll see. There we go. Now I want to darken the bottom because the sun's on top, the shadows are on the bottom. Now let's get that tree in there, that big one. Now if I can ruin this painting, this will be the way. This will be the way it'll happen. I gotta get some more green. So I'll start with the middle tone. And sometimes I'll do this rag technique, and I'll put it on pretty thick, and I'll let it dry. And the areas that are raised up from the goo, like you're pulling it away and you stretch the paint out a little bit, I'll go back and just, with a brush, and lightly touch those high spots. Looks perfect for highlights. Ha! Now you just want to dab it, however you want to say it. And we got a little bit going over here. Yeah. Okay. Now it doesn't look like it's full enough. But that's okay, because we're going to add light and we're going to add dark as well. Now the sun's coming from over here, so the light's going to be on this side, the dark is going to be on that side. So let's darken that up a bit. There we go. So we got some dark here. This one's in the shadow too. It's got some in the shadow here. Put some there. More dark, more dark. All right. There's some of that blue. Mix it in with a little bit of green. That'll darken it up. If I really wanted to get this dark, I could put some alizarin crimson on there, and that would make it pretty close to black. That's how you make black. All right, let's try this now, a little darker. Yeah, that's what that's it. That's what I want. Yeah. This way here, it's more random. It's not all together solid. It's spaced out, but it's random. You can't, I don't think you can really get it so random as this without the rag technique or something similar. And we're going to do the same thing here. I got so much paint on here, it's not happening. All right. I'll fix that. There we go. Haha. Yeah. See, it worked. I'm happy. Little mess up job over here. Worked it out. You know, it's, it is great. So let's take some of this highlight now that we got here and just touch over here some of those trees. Remember, the light's coming from this side over here. I know I got some paint on there. Yeah. Okay. I think that, now we can still use this for the grass here. You know, you might be thinking, hey, that's kind of like cheating. It's not cheating. It's what I'm doing. I'm painting. I'm not cheating. I'm doing what works for me. All right. Now, that's the brush I want. More paper towels. Take this. Oh, look at this. You see that? God. By the time I'm done painting the painting, my hand looks like a rainbow or something. All right. Now, yeah, pushing the brush in and up. And you're like, whoop, I'm even getting scratches when I do that. Because we want it to look like grass. But this grass over there has been mowed. So do I want to make it look like it's been mowed, or do I want to make it look like it's kind of like a wild grass growing hilly-nilly here? I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's get these colors down here. I got an idea. Now, pour a little bit of linseed oil in there. Mind you, if you use a lot of linseed oil, it takes a lot longer to dry. So you probably take it home, and if you want to paint it, you might have to wait a while before you're able to touch it. All right. Remember my magic sponge? Let's soak up some linseed oil. All right, now we got to, before I forget, we have to put in the tree. So we'll grab a little bit of that linseed oil. And maybe a little bit of turps. Let me get that out. So I mix almost 50-50 linseed oil and turps if I use a medium. Usually I don't use a medium. I just use what's out of the tube. If I do use a medium, a lot of the times it'll be like liquid. I use that a lot. It dries faster. It makes it glossy. I use liquid a lot for glazing. But if I want to draw a straight line, a lot of times I'll use linseed oil and terps. Well, odorless terps. All right, I just got this brush today, so we'll see how good this works. I didn't pay a lot of money for it. I'm trying not to get in the way. Let's see what we get here. Yeah. Now, we don't want to show it solid. That's not working out so well. Maybe I better use a little bit of help with the use of the knife again. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Bob Ross can show you exactly how he does it, which is pretty much a good way. What happened was I had so much paint on there that I couldn't get the paint on this brush to get on top. Thick over thin. Now I got some on there, I might be able to, yeah, so I can move it around now. Just a little bit. I'm kind of happy just the way it is. I just show a little bit here and there. Maybe coming up through here would be good. Okay. Now the sun's going to hit this as well. So let's darken up one side. So let's darken up one side. One thing you might want to get is they call a maul. It's a stick, long stick. You have a big ball on the end of it. You put it up there and you can rest your hand on top of it, steady your hand. You'll see portrait painters use that a lot. Some landscape artists, they got a big painting and area down here it may be wet and they want to work up there, they'll get that all on there and they can touch it up. All right, so we have to put in the brown. Where's that brush go? We have to put in the brown now from the, I think the telephone poles is what they got down there. We got to put them back in. So I'm going to rest my hand on the easel here, and we're going to put it in fairly straight. Excuse my backside. I know you'd love to see what I'm doing. Let me see if I can do it this way. The only problem with that is the dark's on the top. The dark's got to be on the bottom. Let me turn this puppy around here. They want us to stay dark up there too. All right. Whatever. So we got one coming down. Got one coming down here. Coming down here. Coming down. Oh, not spaced very well. We'll put one here. And we'll put one here. And I guess we got to put one partially here, huh? Let's have some behind the bush here. There. And we'll put, that's all you can see on that one. Well, that's a one-sitting painting, and there's a lot that could be done to enhance it. I could spend days over here, but you'll be asleep by now. But I can get a liner brush and I can highlight. Well, I can do that with a knife for now to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. You can highlight where the water meets the ground over there. And I'm sure you've seen Bobby do this, Bobby Ross. You know, you just touch it. There we go. There we go. We'll put a little highlight there. If you put lines across your water, make sure you go horizontal. Don't go this way or wavy too much. And it's a little tricky if you got a palette knife that comes to a point. You got to make sure that the angle is up top, is level, not tilted or anything. And I don't think I have to tell you how I know that. I'll put one in here maybe. Now another trick you can use, I also brought this here little tool. There we go. It's a hard rubber tips. One's like a knife, a blade like. This has got a point. But this is also good if you take it down here and you do straight lines across. You can make it look like water. Light hitting it. And like we'll do some here. Add some here. Maybe over here in the dark. All right. I suppose I could use the other end with the point and make some more leaves coming through. Not leaves, but trim. Some small trims coming through. Now, you know, one of the tricks that artists use for white birch that's far away, put some white birches right here, you watch. Hey? Now, the way my father used to do it, he just turn his brush around and use the handle. And you do some over here, like we could do that over here. Some kind of brushy thing going on here. Field job. Now, grab your coffee, get your brushes, and start painting. And we'll have to figure out where we're going to paint again. Someplace around the area. I think I have one in mind. We'll do that one next time. See if we can't improve. It's a good start. You got to do better than that, right? See you later.